able to, you know, attend to your regular bills, which is pay your rent, you are able to feed, you are able to, attend to your basic needs, and then move on with your life without necessarily having to borrow or having to maybe to look for quick cash or liquidate some assets and stuff like that. So that's what financial independence is. So financial independence basically means that you are able to afford all of your bills without having to stress. So I know as a voiceover artist, this can be a tough question, and you're asking, okay, how do I, sorry, let me just quickly share my screen so that we can see, um, my slides. Okay, sorry, just give me a second.
It's live now. We can see
you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make it full screen so then we can move from there. Exactly. Exactly. So basically, I know as a voiceover artist, you get to, interact with different clients and different people that are looking to engage your services. And then you are negotiating, you're saying, oh, I want this, I want that. And then at the same time, with the realities of making money, sometimes as a voiceover artist, mostly you guys don't engage in full-time contracts most of the time. You guys engage mostly in maybe a freelance gig here and there. So sometimes the finances might not be, the sources of income might not be steady and might not be coming in every month. So what I'm going to be sharing, and during the course of this webinar is going to be, enlightening you on how things you can do when those finances are not coming in regularly, when those things are not, monies are not coming in, you can, be able to still live a life where you are financially independent and still make money regardless of what you're doing. So obviously, I'm co-founder of Ango. Like I said earlier, I've had over 10 years in finance, and then I've recently started data science like about 2 years ago now, and then I'm also trying to infuse that into finance. So basically, I'm also, which is very important, I'm co-founder of Ango. So Ango basically is a financial education platform where we teach people, how to make use of the monies, but we are going by using a personalized approach, and we're leveraging AI to do that. So that's what Ango is all about, basically. So I'll just go straight into it so that not to take much of our time again. So like I said earlier, financial realities of a creative is that, irregular incomes and cash flow. Then sometimes some of us are limited in terms of resources and knowledge on how to manage these monies when they come in. And then we are always trying to say, okay, when I don't have income coming in, what do I do? How do I keep on living like the life without necessarily having to worry so much about paying my bills? There are also opportunities in this sector, like you said, demand for voiceover artists, ads, gaming, the like. So you guys, I'm sure you guys all over are having different people from different sectors engaging you and saying they want to engage your services. So there are so many opportunities for voiceover artists to make money and be engaged, and also get to make monies that, intend to change their lives, and then the other opportunities that easy access to financial tools also, because at the end of the day, when you make this much monies and you go online, I think so far there's been a lot of places online where people learn all these things, financial, knowledge and resources and the likes, and then people are just able to claim one or two things. But that's why Ango is here also, to be able to democratize it so that anytime, anywhere you are in the world, you're able to access, knowledge that actually empowers you to be able to make informed decisions about your finances. So I know the aspect of regular income and cash flow is a big issue for voiceover artists. So I know this is one thing that everybody's claiming to hear about and say, how do I manage this particular debacle of, when I'm not making money as a voiceover artist, how do I keep on going? And the secret is just very simple, it's not something far-fetched, not something extraordinary that it's not, you don't need to call on, do seven days prayer and fasting for you to be able to get this over the line. Just need to be able to, adhere to simple, basic financial rules in terms of, budgeting your money correctly in terms of accounting for your spending and not necessarily spending on frivolities, prioritizing your spending, allowing yourself to be able, to work with your money, having a goal in mind. I think that's one thing most people, in especially creatives fail to do. When they make money, they just make money. Money comes in and then they're like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Spend money on a lot of things that doesn't necessarily align in terms that's not goal oriented, that's the word. So you need to spend your money with a goal. You need to expend your resources, your financial resources with a goal in mind. So if you do that, that's one way of, getting yourself to a position where you are financially independent. And when you're not making regular income, you're able to say, oh, I have some money and I can live my life for the next 3 to 6 months without necessarily bothering about making any extra income. So like I said earlier, the first thing you need to do is build a strong financial foundation. You need to be able to budget your money and track your expenses. I know a lot of people will ask me, oh, what are the budgeting tools I can use? And what are this and that? So you can simply start with Excel. Excel is the number one way to keep track of your expenses. You can just put it into two simple columns, sources of income and uses of income. Simple. You know what you spend your money on every month. You know where your money comes from every month. So you know that if you have like maybe in the next month you've agreed contracts to do voiceover engagements for like 2 months, and money is going to come in maybe every 2 weeks or every three weeks or every month. So if I highlighted that, you know where your sources of income are, you know the total amount that's coming in. So you are able to track you are able to create another column to say uses of income also. You put your basic needs, which is your rent. For those of us that are maybe paying rent monthly, you have issues of rent set out. Those of us that are paying rent yearly, we've already covered that section of our income that goes towards our rent at every month that accumulates into a yearly payment that will now pay out. So you have that, your rent, then you go down straight to your needs, like your food needs, groceries, your market needs in terms of food items and stuff. Those are the next thing on your list. You want to highlight for that. And then the next thing you want to go on down is your savings. It's very important. Savings, what you are saving, that's the next thing you want to track. And then you want to probably, if you have enough funds, you want to keep an emergency savings fund. So that's emergency savings fund is for when you probably don't have that gig now. You don't have that gig coming in. You have an emergency. Maybe something happens that's unexpected, which happens a lot in Nigeria. Sorry, I hope I'm not speaking too fast, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. Please go on.
Yeah. So you have that emergency fund stacked up somewhere, and then you're just paying it every month into that account. And one key thing, everybody asks me that, oh no, it's easy to say all these things, but the number one thing you need to do is automate these things. Nowadays, technology is so apparent now. We cannot say that we are not making use of technology. There are so many financial products out there that allows you to automate your savings. Once money comes in, you're able to automate it and say, take so amount of my money, it goes into this account and it says savings. Take so amount of money, it goes into my account, it says, okay, this is my operations account where I leave my rent, where I leave my daily runnings for food and stuff. And then you have, if you have extra, if you have extra after you sorted out all your basic needs, and you know that you can use that extra to basically invest, right? Sometimes people use that extra to invest. Sometimes people bank on their savings to invest, and sometimes people bank on, their extra to enjoy yourself. But at the same time, we always advise that you obey a simple rule. So there's this rule we call 50, 30, 20. So it's that you spend 50% of your money on the core things you need to spend on, which is things I've highlighted earlier, your rent, your food expense, and then and any other thing that's critical to your surviving. You spend 50% of your income on that, right, on a monthly basis. And then as voiceover artists, anytime we receive that big chunk of money, we receive that 1 million naira, that 2 million naira, that 500K for an engagement, you tend to keep 50% of that. You say expenses, major expenses. If I want to have, sort out my major expenses, 50% of that goes to that. And then you allow your 30% basically, to go into any other things that is not primary, like that's not your rent, that's not your food, right? That's what you spend your 30% on. And then your 20% basically goes into your like investment and maybe savings at times. Some of your 30% also can go into your savings, right? Since you've covered your basic needs, you can spend your 30% on your savings, and then you can now take your 20% and say, okay, I want to enjoy myself with this 20%. So then another thing that is important that allows a lot of people run into not build a strong financial, foundation is the fact that people spend a lot of time, or not a lot of time. Now, people overspend their monies. Now, people spend their monies before they come in. You're expecting, let's say 500K now. You've already calculated expenses worth like 600K. You now have to borrow like 100K extra. You're not managing your debt wisely. You are falling into debt traps, borrowing money from loan apps that charge you ridiculous rates. And then maybe you borrow 100K, you have to pay 200K back. That is ridiculous. You need to avoid all those kind of things and borrow from financial institutions that give reasonable rates. And all of these things are things that that on Angle, our financial platform, you're able to have access to. You have access to, the education, and then you're able to have access to also the products that you need, to make your savings, to take your loans, to make your investments, whether it's stocks, real estate, whatever it is that you want to do. Those are things that allows, those are things that we offer on Angle also. So things that you can do for investments. So basically I've covered, how to budget your money. You can use Excel for that. Like I said, income, sources of income, uses of income. And then also, like I said, you can automate your savings, it works wonders. Automating your savings works wonders. And then I've said, leaving that extra 20% for emergency funding. That's your black tax that comes in the month. You can always use that 20% to sort it. So now, what do you do with your savings? How do you plan your savings and ensure that, oh boy, when jobs are not coming in, I'm able to, have something to spend going for the next 3 to 6 months? You need to invest in stocks, like I said, long-term appreciation, bonds, real estate. Those are things that you can put your money into. And I'll quickly dive into stocks. One key thing that I know that people don't realize is that people say, oh, stocks, my money will go down, but sometimes when you're investing in stocks, it's not about your money going down, right? In terms of the value of your money depreciating, right? Or as I know, so for stocks, right? Let me just really understand. For people that don't understand what stocks is, right? I'll just say stocks basically is you buying a ownership share in a company and saying, oh, I'll give you my money so that you can do business with it. And then for that money I've given you to do business with it, I own a certain percentage of a company. And then for that money I've also given you, I'm entitled to some form of profits from the business proceedings. That's what basically stocks are. So you are able to invest in stocks of companies, right? And able to get a share of their profits. That's why you see the share of this profit is called dividends. So dividends are very important things when you're investing in stocks, especially for those of us that have families, right? And that we want to keep when monies are not coming in, we're not getting that gig regularly. We want to be able to take care of our basic needs. Investing in dividend stocks, that's what we call them. Dividend stocks are very, very key. You can invest in an example of dividend stocks now. For example, on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we have the banking stocks. We have the Zenith, the GTB, all those banks pay dividends regularly and quarterly. We have, MTN pays stocks regularly and, pays dividends regularly and quarterly also. We have like several other companies on the stock exchange that, pay dividends, regularly. So that's one thing you can put your money into. Invest in companies. Don't bother about that fluctuation in price, even though it's also important, but don't worry too much about that fluctuation. But as long as you're investing in a company that is, that has good financial standing, that that they will continue to grow their economy, their business, no matter what happens in the economy. So, like for example, in Nigeria now, we have telecommunication sector where, whether the economy is going down like the way it is currently, in Nigeria, right? People will always pay for data. People always call. MTN will always continue to do business. They cannot go down. So these are kind of, stocks you want to buy. And then also you go for food. People that do business that are doing food, Dangote, like producing salt, those companies will never run down because those companies sell basic needs, so that kind of things you can put your money in. And then you can bank on that dividend quarterly to run your family whenever you are not getting regular income. Bonds also. Bonds are simply a way of, safeguarding your money in the long term. Let's say you don't want to invest your money, you don't want to keep your money in your bank account. You can always buy that FGN saving bonds. That's just 10%, and you have like 10K to put into it. I think the minimum threshold is 10K. You can just put, and we make much more than that as voiceover artists. So we can put that money in there, expect that 12%, 15, 17. I think it's 70% now. NPR is like 70% now. Or is it 17 or going up to 20%, I think, right now. So you can get that 20% upfront, run your basic needs, and then you have that money saved there. And then at the end of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, no matter, depending on duration of the bond, you can always cash in on your money and then put that money into something that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you've always wanted to buy a property, and then you've always wanted to maybe invest in real estate. You can put that money into real estate and invest. But one key thing I know that we are also worried about in this kind of state is, in this kind of economy, is the fact that how am I going to beat inflation? How am I going to earn above inflation, right? One thing, I think inflation in Nigeria right now is above like 30%, which is crazy, absolutely crazy, right? And it's difficult for us to get, returns above that. But trust me, returns right now with all the assets I've mentioned, stocks can give you, if I told you that Wando has done over 60, 70% this year alone. That's Wando is another company that we all know Wando, I guess. I want to assume that we all know Wando. Like the stocks on the NGX have done over 60, 70% of your money. Inflation is 30%. If you take out 30% from the 70%, 60% Wando has done this year, you still have like 40% left. You still have like 30% left. That is your own money, and that it's actually real return on your investment. So those are things that we need to look into. And then one key thing I want to mention is that invest in dollar-denominated income, in dollar-denominated assets. And there are so many investment platforms like fintechs that are offering these dollar-denominated assets right now. When you get that money in dollars, when you get that money as a voiceover artist, I know we are doing foreign gigs, we're doing local gigs. When you get that money, put it in put it in foreign exchange, put it in foreign assets, foreign real estate, foreign stocks, foreign bonds. These things help you guide against inflation also. And then they help you, secure that regular income you need when you're not earning a lot of money. Because anybody earning in foreign currency right now and investing in foreign currency right now is absolutely doing the right thing, because you would always get returns on your money. Like, imagine, for example, if you've invested in dollars, maybe during the Buhari era, let's not even go too far, during the Buhari era, right? When dollar was like 600, 700. Imagine you held that dollar till now. Now that dollar is 1,700, that's almost over 100%, returns on your money. So those are the things that we need to pay attention to when we are trying to, secure and drive towards financial independence. But like I said, the key things, let me just do a quick recap. The key things to these things is that you need a base financial foundation, which is that budgeting, that 50-30 rule. You need to keep to it, and then once you achieve that base, you are keeping track with your Excel sheet. You need to also, start now investing that your 20% in those dividend stocks, investing in those bonds, those foreign assets that will allow your money to appreciate. So those are the things that you need to look into. And on Angle, we are giving you all this knowledge and introducing you to the right companies and the right financial products for you to use, for you to be able to get good returns and be able to drive towards financial independence. So like I said earlier, using low cost, leveraging fintech. Like I said, leveraging fintech is key. You need to look at, there are so many like fintechs that offer foreign stocks, local stocks, that offer as in foreign housing and like real estate investments in the US, that offers real estate bonds, foreign bonds and foreign investments, even local investment. And this investment deliver over 20% rate of return on your investment within a short period of time, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So one thing I would say that when you're investing also, which is very important, invest with a goal. Do you want to invest long term? Do you want to invest short term? If you want to invest long-term, you're looking at stocks. If you want to invest short-term, you're looking at bonds that will probably pay you out within like 3 months, 6 months. You want to invest in FGN savings bonds, stuff like that. Your plan for your money, like I said earlier, determines how you invest. It's very important. Let's keep that in mind. Your plan for your money determines how you invest. If you're looking to buy a house, soon, and you are saving up that money, you want to save up that money probably in dollars, and you want to invest in something that's giving you return in dollars, and like I said, there are so many fintech products offering all those things that we can look into, that we can mention. So, like I said, another thing that is key also, like I said, I've mentioned earlier, automating your savings is important. Automating your savings, that's number one way of overcoming challenges, financial challenges. Automating your savings, it will save you when you're not getting that regular income. And probably one thing also that you need to, so that you don't, especially for those of us that are getting foreign gigs, I know tax is also something that we need to account for when we are, considering our income, especially those of us. I saw people from Ghana, people from other places in the world where tax can be a serious issue. You need to account for tax when you're making your money, because sometimes even in Nigeria here, value add withholding tax, I think it's something that they can charge on income being paid to voiceover artists, because normally they're supposed to pay the tax on your behalf. I think withholding tax is like around 15 or 20% right now. I'm not sure. I think 15%. That's the last time I checked. So those are things that you sometimes need to account for when you're making money as a voiceover artist. So you're not, calculating that as part of the income you're making. So when you account for that, it allows you to also plan properly when you're making your money. So that's one thing I think we need to take advantage of. So like I said earlier, all the things I've mentioned throughout like the course of my speaking, track your income and your expenses. I will tell you, this is like the basis, for getting ahead in life when your finances. Honestly, for me, it has worked magic. When I track my expenses, I'm able to, understand what I'm spending money on. Is this, like I said earlier, spend money with a goal, make money with a goal. The way I'm making my money and the way I'm spending my money, is it aligning with my goal? Like, that's one thing that you need to keep track of. So when you're keeping track of your income and your expenses, it allows you to be able to know where you are as it relates to your goal. Start small investments. You don't need to start big. Start small. You don't need to start big. You can start with 10K. Compounding interest is like magic. Compounding interest works like magic. I will tell you today, if you are putting 10K every month in a dollar denominated, let's say you started putting 10K since, like, let's say again, Buhari era compared to Tinubu now. If you are putting money in stocks, if you are putting money in dollars and you're just saving it, I know there are a lot of financial fintech companies that offer like just money sitting in their wallets. You're not even investing in anything, and it's in dollars, and they're giving you like 8-10% return on your money. So imagine you're just putting, let's say, $50. Don't let's even talk too much. $50, $20 every month. You're putting it in there, putting it in there every month. And like I said again, exchange rate was like 700 during Buhari, and now it's like 17. Imagine what you get on the exchange rate. Imagine what you're getting on the interest upon interest that you're getting every month. So that's like a way to keep money, and then you can fall back on those monies when you are not getting that regular contract for as a voiceover artist or as a creative. Then also building financial habits. Like I said, automating your savings is important. Automating your savings is absolutely important. Like me personally, I automate my savings. Once my money comes in, I have an account where my savings goes into strictly. There was a time in my life where I didn't earn money for 3 months, right? And my savings was basically what has bailed me out. Savings, and I had bills to pay both in Naira and in foreign currency. So, and I've been paying, sorting out those bills. I've not been able, if I assume I've not been automating my savings, I've not been making, investment in the right, assets that are giving me quarterly returns, I wouldn't be able to meet all those expenses, because there are times where you just feel like, oh, for those of us that can say that I'm tired of working anyways, and I just want to rest for a couple of months. But, right, we can always, take that break and say, I want my money to work for me, and then let me just be at home and enjoy for the next 2-3 months and look for something else, and then I continue. Then one thing that's also important is continuous learning. Trust me, you cannot learn too much. Even if you're not making that big bucks now, learn so that when you're making that big bucks, you are able to, apply all the knowledge that you've used, that you've acquired so far. And that's what Angle will do for you. Again, Angle will teach you how to budget. Angle will teach you how to save, right? The right saving habits, the right, you know, the right habits to cultivate with your money. Angle will tell you about, new opportunities or new ways in which people are investing. You also have a community of people also sharing how they're investing their money, telling you about how they are doing with their finances also. And we also have experts come on regular webinars to give you real-time advice as the economy is changing on how to better your finances. And all of this, is done as it relates to you. It's not like somebody just coming to you. They're just coming to web to a platform where they are just imagining that you have a problem. No, you are coming to a platform where we've already collected your data to ascertain that, okay, this is what you need at this time, and this is where you are at your financial level, and we're able to use all that information, to guide you and provide you with detailed information you need to grow your money, detailed information you need to also expand your finances and work towards that goal of achieving financial independence. So as not to just talk too much and expand over all of our time, I'm sure there's still a panel session. I'll just put in a stop there. And I hope we've learned one or two things from all things I've said, because I think I've shared quite a lot of things that we can all use in our finances and better our lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tito.
Questions, if you have questions, like we always say, talk is cheap, but your voice can be expensive. So please, while that voice is expensive, let us get that money and plan properly, invest properly, and do your thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so. Please put your hands together, everyone. Can we go to the chat section and say a very warm, big, gigantic thank you to Tito? That was very. And you see, if you're on this call and you're not writing things down, I don't know. I really cannot help you. I really wish I could, but I cannot. Because even whilst I'm here, and it probably, if you'd have noticed that my eye was really, I was typing on my phone, putting out some salient points. And one of the things that he kept reiterating was that to automate your savings. And whilst he was saying that, right, I came up with this quote, and it says that money you save today will save you tomorrow. The money that you save today, that money will save it tomorrow. And just like what Tito said,
absolutely,
he's saving in dollars. You know those are the spenders, the big spenders in dollars, regardless of the amount he's earning, he has a certain percentage that he saves just to make sure that that money is able to save him. He can conveniently go for 3 months without working because he has some money, saved up for him. Once again, can we please celebrate Tito, please? We'll be taking about 3 questions. Let us ensure that our questions are very succinct and straight to the point. Let's keep it short and simple. So if you have any questions, please, you can signify by raising up your hand in, just indicate by raising your hand and I will call you. Okay, please indicate by raising your hand if you have any questions whatsoever. Okay, so we have Robert. Mutha, okay, Robert, please, you can speak. You can unmute your mic and then ask your question.
But from can you hear me?
Yes, but it's actually, there's a glitch. But please go on. Robert, are you there?
Okay. And thank you for having.
Apologies, sorry. I think I dropped off for a bit.
Welcome back, Tito. Okay, so Robert, we can hardly hear you. Can you please type out your question in the chat box, because the network where you are, the connection is pretty unstable. Can you please type out your question, because we're literally struggling to hear you. Okay, so I'm going to go to the chat section shortly. Okay, we have Khadija. Robert, are you there? Robert, please type out your question in the chat section. Okay, so the mechanic says that the money is, he's just reiterating what I said. The money you save today would save it tomorrow. Yes, thank you so much, the mechanic. Okay, everybody's up is saying thank you to Tito. Who else again has a question before we move on? Robert will be expecting your okay. So Tito, just is saying you should explain more on angle, right? Tito, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
So Justice wants you to explain more on angle. That's one. Then two, I would also I know that whilst you were speaking, you had talked on FGN bonds. Can you please
Yeah.
decode what FGN is shortly so that people can understand what it is that you were saying?
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Okay, so I would start with the question on FGM bonds. So FGM bonds means federal government savings bonds, right? That's what FGM bonds means. And then you need a minimum of 10,000 naira to be able to invest. Stockbroking firms offer these things, or like once it's out, they offer it. If you are maybe if you are subscribed, or maybe on I don't want to give any platform free publicity right now, but if you like, right, if you are logged on to maybe stockbroking firms, right, stockbroking
Okay.
firms, fintech platforms, they always um come out there and tell you that that if you want to invest in FGN saving bonds. I know I get every month for my stockbroker. Like I get every month on that email every month and says, do I want to invest in FGN saving bonds, which is federal government savings bonds. 10K, that's all you need. 10,000 naira, and you have tenors of like I think 180 days, 90 days also, and they have like different returns on that money. So you get, I think the returns right now for saving bonds is between, like I said earlier, I think MPR is around 20 something percent now, or almost 20 something percent now. So MPR is like the amount at which um CPN lends to banks. So that's also that rate is also absorbed, as how much is paid out on any government borrowing. If government is borrowing money out to the public, which is what MTN savings bond is, because government is taking your money and they are trying to use it to invest in the economy, right? So they are that money, they are paying you interest for taking your money, right? So I think that interest now goes between, depending on what duration of bonds you're investing in, that rate can differ and can go between, I think now, between anything between 17 to 20%, I think. I'm not absolutely sure now. But I think so that's what basically MTN savings bonds is. So just 10K. Talk to any broker. If you talk to any stockbroker in the Nigerian space right now, they will tell you that they can get you with savings bonds. So yeah. Then back to the question on Angle. Angle basically is I'm not sure if our community manager is on the call, but I think it should be. So I think maybe with permission, he can share maybe a link to our website, or with our wait lists currently, that just gives a brief description of what we do. But I'll go ahead and explain also. Um, so Angle is basically a, a financial education platform that personalizes your education, like that teaches you financial literacy, basically. It teaches you how to save better, how to invest better, how to budget your money better, how to also earn a living better. So we don't just stop there at teaching you how to do these things. We now also connect you to the right products, that product that you need to do your savings, to do your budgeting, to do your investing. We connect you to that product and say, see, use this product. This product is good for you, and you will make money. If you make money, or you become more effective and more efficient with your money if you use these financial products. So we also go ahead and do that. And besides that, we also now offer you, insights and information, regular news, regular research insights on stocks to put money into, on latest trend in personal finance. We also have a place on that platform that allows you to do that. And not most importantly, we host regular webinars, that will be tailored to your finance, to your specific needs also. So when you're signing on our products, right, Angle, we ask you, what do you want to learn about? What are your financial goals? What are you making currently? What are you spending monthly currently? Do you have any savings somewhere? What is your investment portfolio? Are you risk averse? Are you afraid when there's a market volatility? There's up and down in like the money places you put your money. Like, are you afraid? So we take all that information, and then we now recommend products to you, recommend things you need to learn about, and then you are able to make informed decisions with all the information and then the products and also all the webinars and all the community peer. We also encourage peer learning. That's why we have a community where people are talking about what they are investing their money into, what they are doing with their money, how they are saving, how they are budgeting. People are doing all these things, and then you can learn from the community, and then also learn from the courses, and also apply to the products that we're offering. Also, so that's basically what we do at Angle.
All right, thank you so much, Tito. I will take one more question, and then we'll call it a day on this session. So the mechanic is asking that is the FGN saving bonds open to those outside of Nigeria? So I'm gonna ask you these two questions and you answer them together. So the mechanic is saying is the FGN savings bond open to those outside Nigeria? And then Robert from Kenya is asking that if you want to invest in dollar markets and your currency is different, how do you invest with a different exchange rate?
So I'll answer the first one question first. So FGM bonds is open to you as long as you have like a Nigerian account. Even if you're Nigerian in diaspora, like you have Nigerian accounts, you can always convert that pounds, that dollars, that euros, to naira and invest. And we also have Nigerian government also, even though I think the entry barrier is high, maybe you have to have a couple thousand of dollars before you can buy. But Nigerian government also offers foreign bonds, like bonds that they sell to foreign individuals that are in the diaspora and say, okay, we want to raise money for people in the diaspora to run the economy. And that's also a good place to put your money into. But back to the Nigerian savings bond. To answer your question, yes, if you are abroad, you can invest in FGN savings bonds. Just make sure you have a Nigerian account and you have a Nigerian broker, then you're good to go. For the second question, I think the second question is about investing in dollar assets, right? If you're abroad also, right? Considering exchange rates, volatility. So
yes.
So for that, right? I always advise people to, except you are making money in a currency that's higher than the other currency you are investing in, right? Which is not even a wise idea, right? For you to probably convert money to dollars and invest in naira. I would never advise you to do that, right? The best thing is to invest in the currency you are making. But in a case where you cannot invest in the currency you are making, your next best currency to invest in is the dollar. So, and if you're investing in the dollar, right? Because most top currencies in the world, pounds, euros is higher. I think it's slightly higher than the dollar. So, but the next best thing to invest in is the dollar, right? Because everybody uses dollar all over the world. So if you are converting from pounds to dollar, you are investing. Obviously exchange rates will work in your favor. So you're having more dollars to invest. So I know fintech platforms I know a number of fintech platforms, especially, okay, I can say of RiseVest because I've worked with them. So let me mention them, right? I know they have opportunities for you to if you're in the UK, you can invest from the UK in dollars on RiseVest, right? I know of that. I know there are several other platforms also like that allow you to invest in foreign currency. When invest from another currency to dollar currency, like especially on that platform. So I think we just need to take our time to research, and that's one of the things where Ango is for. Also, like I keep saying, you don't need to look too far. Ango will just give you this will give you these products on the platform, and you're able to see, okay, these are the companies that are offering all of these dollar denominated assets and I can use them this way, use them that way, and then you are able to make investment. That's part of the things Ango is solving. Like what we are doing is democratizing the process of investing, the process of acquiring knowledge for the ordinary man on the streets, basically. That's what we are doing, and everybody here is welcome to join us. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, can we celebrate Tito? Thank you so much, Tito Okwande. Thank you for such a very beautiful conversation. Thank you for teaching us, for helping us understand the impact and I need to frame that correctly. What investments can do for us. Okay, so if you're interested in joining the Angle community, please, you can check them on the chat section. Please go there quickly. to know more about Angela. But once again, can we please put our hands together and celebrate Tito right now? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I believe that we are actually putting things down. Like I said earlier, the knowledge that you have and you apply is the knowledge that works for you. The knowledge that you have and apply is actually what works for you. Now, moving on quickly to our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, he is the MD/CEO, Called Out Estates Limited. I just want to stick to my what's it called, my job description, because I said, oh, are you related to John Legend? But it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, James E. Legend, put your hands together as he speaks on investment strategies for voiceover artists. Okay. Hi, James Legend.
Hello,
Are you a
good
distant
evening,
cousin of John
everyone.
Legend?
I wish I could, but no problems.
Don't worry,
Can
smile.
you
It's
hear
okay.
me?
Over to
Can
you.
everyone hear me?
Loud and clear. Loud and
All
clear.
right.
You have 50 minutes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And sincere appreciations to Kingi for this. I appreciate the opportunity. And thank you to our speaker that just concluded, Mr. Tito Bioluwa.
Okay.
That was a very exhaustive session, and it's great. All right, so my job here is really simple. Permit me, I do not have a slide, not because I could not create a slide, but because I don't need one, right? Mr. Tito Bioluwa has done a very good job, with all of that slide. And I mean, that's a very deep knowledge on financial. I mean, that's some sort of financial literacy, you understand? So he has settled that. My own part is just one, bit in all of the things he has said. If you notice in his slides and even in his speech, there were a couple of mentions of real estate. So I was nodding my head, yeah. That's very important. And so for voiceover artists, I mean, I want to believe that everyone here largely is from the voiceover community. And just like Kingi said when he started, it means is you are creative, and usually from what you have known so far, so good. The stories are not always good when you see creatives that maybe somewhere towards the end of their career, a major issue hits, and then it's almost like these people were never nothing before. And that's because of either no investment or bad investments. All right. So, and that's what this webinar is for. So on my own part, as a real estate person, and talking about real estate investment for voiceover artists, investment strategies in itself, we have gotten plenty of it, and real estate is one. Now, I have a bit of challenge with the way people see real estate. I will make some deductions from the audience here. I want to assume that we are largely young people. And so if that deduction is correct, it means that there's no better time to do certain investments than now. Now, there are different investment goals. If you listen very well to Mr. Titobi, you'd have heard that there are different investment goals. There are short-term investment goals. Regularly, those will be savings, right? Because so I'll need to do something tomorrow, I'll need to do something next month. I save up for that, or I have some sort of savings for that. But when we talk about investment in itself, real estate is one of those investment that gives you, a long-term. It's usually under the long-term goal investment. So it means that if you are thinking about real estate investment at all, I plead the first thought in your head should not be, it's not MMM, it's not a Ponzi scheme, it's not that, it's jackpot. Once I buy something, let's even say, even if it's rental income, right? You most likely are not buying the apartment for anything lesser than, give or take here, let's just say 1 bedroom. I'm talking between 8, 10, 15 million. So I'm taking the lower end of the ladder now, say a 1 bedroom apartment, right? Now, it will take you at least 8 years or thereabout to be able to make the investment that you have put into it back. Now, because it's long-term investment, so think of another 8 years, you still have another credible income. Now, the thing with real estate is more often than not, it matches or is above inflation. So it means that if for any reason you have a real estate investment today, if you decide to turn it over, let's say in another 10 years from now, it would very well match with whatever inflation you have at that period. A very clear example is one of the estates we sell, which is Eden Garden at Ekpe. We started selling at about, I think, 700,000 or so. And all of these things I'm saying is within a year period. And it's currently selling at 3.5 million. So good guess, whoever bought at 700K, now your investment is 3.5 million. So I'm saying if you have to turn it over within a year, I am trying to think of any other investment I would do that will give, that kind of return in that period of time. But then again, there are things to note. So the entry barrier for real estate is usually not that low, which is why you will have a lot of real estate companies say, okay, you can spread balance, you can spread the remaining payment for, XYZ period. And it is something that we should key into, because really and truly, one of the key things I heard from Mr. Tito B was how that, sometimes, no, not sometimes, most of the time for real voiceover artists, you do not have how did he put it, like recurrent. So it means the income is irregular in some way. So it's not like salary to say, okay, I'm expecting every month. Some people would have gotten to that stage. I want to believe Kingi is he's the king now. So there's every month, there are deals coming in and all, so we should all aim to be there, but we are not all there yet. So it means that some months you might not expect anything. So you can't really bank on what comes in every month. So it means you then need to work with, okay, this is what I have. Let's say give or take, in a period of 3 months, I should have certain gigs. And I'm saying this on a very plain level, like speaking to everybody on a very plain level. So you are a voiceover artist and you will do maybe 3 to 5 recordings or stuff like that in a month. Just an assumption. And perhaps the kind of fee that Kingi will charge for it is not what you will charge just yet, but you can do a give or take scenario. So I've saved up a bit. I need to say something at this point. Please don't, you can't save up as a form of investment. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It means you can't say, okay, I'm saving 10K every month as a form of investment. No, you cannot. It's not an investment, right? So, but you can have savings to do, certain, but you can't save up as a form of investment, but you can save up to start an investment. So your savings cannot be a form of investment, because at the end of the day, let's assume that you're able to save 50,000 every month for 10 months, you have 500,000. Now, that 500,000 in itself, as at the time you started saving, of course, let's say we are saving in Naira. So at the time you started saving, the money was at a particular point. And by the time you finished your 500K, it's not the same anymore. So you can then say, okay, this 500K, now I put it in this. Well, one of the things he also said is about rental income. Now, rental income means you have an apartment, and it's not low entry. So it means you must have a few millions to at least start that. But then again, if you watch the trends or your patterns of work, you can say, okay, in 3 months, I'll have 8 million naira. I can do a down payment for an apartment that can then turn over a yearly income. Do you understand? Or you can do in a month, I can get 500K and start with a land, and then give it a few years, I can then diversify. Again, you want to remember when Kingi started his introduction is the fact that at the end, so with real estate is an end goal. It's not an immediate, stuff. So you can do every other thing, government bonds, money market, euro, dollar, treasury bills, every one of those things to say, okay, dividends that you get every month and, all of that. But with real estate, it's tangible assets that, you can keep. Because again, real estate also gives you security of some sort. So, and I'm sure Mr. Toby can attest to that. It gives you security. So you have this, right? I can access all these other things as well. You understand? So another thing we want to do, or you would want to do as voiceover artist, is these days I hear this a lot, and I think I agree with it. Collaboration is a new competition. So sometimes what will take only you, when we started this call, I was just thinking of something. So for voiceover artists now, so let's assume, so will it be that what you do alone is just record, your voice for people, for industries, and can it just be that alone? Okay, so I'm seeing Kingi in his studio right now. So who did all this design for him? Let's assume he's an interior person. So the interior person will probably wait for instructions from him on how to do certain things. Why? Because he's a voiceover artist. He understands what he wants to achieve from his studio. Am I right? So I know the kind of mic I want to use. I know the kind of background I want to. It's just a way of and that brings me to another point. One of the investments you can have really is having a business. You already have a voiceover business. So we are saying to diversify your portfolio, right? So you look at a studio, for instance, it will take an interior person to design a studio. Because you're a voiceover artist, you have visited a lot of studios. You have visited Kingi's studio. You have seen the design. You have looked at it. Okay, so ideally, this is what a studio should look like. Sometimes you might just find that you have created another business, again, in the voiceover sphere, where you are then looking at how to set up voiceover studios for people. Let's take a cue from the banks, for instance. One of the things that we don't learn to do, as business people and entrepreneurs, again, voiceover here is the key example, is sometimes we want to try and localize the industry because you will get more that way. So this is what I mean. Kingi is, like Lady Jade said, a legend in this voiceover thing, right? And so imagine Kingi has a whole office complex where you then have, in the whole of that place, it's just voiceover. So if you come into that place, not just every other person, is already doing real estate. So I'm getting rent here. I'm doing voiceover. I'm getting rent from people, right? And then you have people come into that place. It's now a thing of, you have access to now a lot of people. You understand? So the business is more viable that way. You have a way to ensure that income keep coming. So even if people come there just because of Kingi, there will be another studio. Let's assume this is not something I can do. Think of an Alaba market, for instance. If an Igbo man tells you that this one is not my price or something, they have another place where you can probably get it cheaper. And if you check very well, it's probably a shop too as well. Do you understand? So you are just creating different segments for different people, and you ensure that you are still keeping the money. So real estate is not one size fits all, and we can't prefer just one solution for everyone. But I would like everyone to look within. If you think real estate, you are on the right path. However, you are thinking long term, which is good. But there are also other ways to make short term. That's one of the things at Called Out Estates that we do. Kingi is our brand ambassador, and we, as much as possible, there's financial literacy, which Mr. Titobi will give to you. There's real estate literacy, which I'll give to you. So if you say, it's true, let's start investing in it, calm down. So how much have you saved up right now that can, kickstart the journey, right? So we can look at it like this. Instead of having to, sometimes people think of, they say rental properties and all that. You don't necessarily need to buy a house in Lagos to start with. If you go to, let's say, Ogun State, for instance, you might see a cheaper apartment. Remember one of the things Mr. Titobi said, and I agree with him, this thing is like a seed. any kind of investment you think of it as a seed. Think of compound interest. So I start small. When it comes into the ground, 500K, I put this tomorrow, I put this next tomorrow. In 1 year, in 2 years, it won't be exactly what you have put in to start. You now have a lot. So you say maybe a place like Ogun State, and then I see a building or an apartment that, is a lower amount. You can probably, spread the payment, and you are expecting, let's say as low as 2 million naira every year. That 2 million, you can start something now in Lagos that would then, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So, well, of course, that's what we would do. If someone says, let's say one of the voiceover persons now, Lady J, just says, I just eat 120 million naira deal. Okay, so I want to put a large chunk in real estate, right? So I can say, okay, I don't go to Lekki and buy a house. Just I know you say the rent is calm down. Don't go to Lekki, come to, and see, that's the interesting thing. But go to a place like Yanokwaja, get something that would be, let's say, a 2-3 bedroom, right? You will make like 2 million, 3 million yearly from the rent. In 5 years, you have another money to then spread. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That way, you're already solidifying and consolidating your investment such that whatever happens, you have things coming from different angles. So I'm here to say that as much as I want to say, oh, okay, the first thing you should do is just buy a land. And in itself, buying a land does not necessarily make you rich or wealthy or, secure your investment, because it's just one thing. And then you need to wait for years for it to rise to a level where you can then say, that's not just what you want to do. You want to do that. And you also want to diversify your investment portfolio, especially in the real estate, space. And again, it is not all that low entry, but however, you can start with something. But the idea here is, I usually say something, if you're at the conference, the Voiceover conference, I mentioned it, how that real estate is not just a transaction, it is a journey. But I mean, for me, and everybody should see it that way. And whoever you're going with on a journey, it's very important, because it determines whether there is the zeal to want to continue the journey or whether you even get there at all. You understand? So there are different rungs of the ladder, and it is wise to, always start from an entry point and then at some level diversify the portfolio, and that consolidates your investment. So for this webinar, Kingi had told me about it, so I said, okay, we'll look out for people that from the voiceover industry and that would want to invest in real estate with called out estates. We would, I'm sure he has them, because we had sent it to him. We'll look out for everyone that comes in from this, and then we'll create something where there's an easy spread of the payment. And then, of course, we'll give you all of these tips on, diversifying your portfolio when you get to an angle. And also, again, we all have different capacities. Someone might have 500K right now, and someone else has, okay, I have 10 million. How do I put it in real estate? And remember, again, like I said, it's not MMM, but that it can begin to grow, in a very seamless manner. And in a short time, you will have stuffs where if you decide, just like Mr. Tito be that, okay, I don't want to take real estate, voiceover gigs for 3 months, you have something that you have already planted that is then bringing fruit back to you. So thank you for the time. I hope I didn't shoot my time. And then, of course, we'll discuss the rest in the panel session. The panel session is more because there are questions to ask.
You're right on time. Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we please put our hands together in the chat section for James Legend, James E. Legend, the MD CEO of Cold at Homes. Can I see the excitement in the, what's going on, people? Let's not bring down the energy. No, let's not do that. With all of that secret, a whole CEO is giving us stuff, and we are not celebrating. That's wrong. That's not, please let us celebrate. In fact, Tito, you should be the person carrying, placard and say, whoop, whoop, we love you, because half of his speech, you were quoted more than once. We are quoted more than once.
That's the
Okay,
benefit
thank you.
of being a first runner, you know.
Thank,
It set a good pace, you know, and
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Kingi, is the video ready? Are we ready for the video? Or just before, sorry, Kingi, just before I bring you up, do we have any questions? We can just take only 2 questions. Right, if we have any questions, we'll take only 2. And then in the course of whilst James was speaking, there is a link that was sent. I believe that the link will be sent again, which is why it's important that when we attend these kind of webinars, we don't leave. I understand that network can be, you know, funny, the net connection can be unstable, but when it logs you out, please come back in, because now everyone on this call, we are all going to be guided as to how to invest in real estate in real time. And we'll have the guidance of the founder and CEO of Called Out Homes. Okay, so please, can we all click the link in the chat section so that we can be a part of this amazing initiative that's about to happen? Okay, let's quickly do that. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? We'll take 2 questions and then move on quickly because of our time, please. Thank you. Okay. I've been sent a message. I think we'll do that during the panel session then. So let me move quickly to King E now. So King E, can we have the video, and then we'll move quickly to the panel session. Thank you.
Can you hear
Can we
anything?
all hear the video?
No, I don't think I can hear anything. I can't.
Okay. Okay. King E, please, can we play the video again? Once again, if you have anyone that you know that is supposed to be here and is not here, can you please send them the link? And so those of us that have shared the link on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram stories, on your Facebook stories, we want to say a very big thank you. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for being evangelists of the voiceover workshop. Okay, so Kingi, are we good with the video now?
All right. Let me go on. I can't, hopefully before we're done, we'll probably get it
We'll just
together.
move to the panel session, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I believe that my moderator, the delectable, beautiful, I hope she's on this call, because all these hype that I'm hyping, it must not be in absentia. It must not, I hope she's on the call. Shalewa, can we see your beautiful face, darling? Is she on the call? Shalewa, are you there? So ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a panel session shortly. Right, and
Yes,
we'll have...
I'm here. Good evening.
What did you say?
My internet was trying to act up, so I had to switch to the other one so that I'm sure I have a stable connection.
It's the voice for me. We are all in for a very sweet... Can you people hear that voice? Did you guys hear that voice? Oh my God. When a legend is speaking, you
Who is
know
hailing me?
You're welcome, Shalewa. So ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
to move quickly to the panel session for today, and I believe that is going to be an explosive one at that. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for today, Shalewa Williams. Please, can we give her a warm welcome in the chat section? Can we celebrate?
Thank you very much. My camera is a paid actor here, so please permit me. I believe you can all hear me.
That's not
it's
fair.
unable.
We can't be enjoying this goodness and we cannot see your fine face.
Exactly. So I'm just going to multitask that while I'm moderating the session so that it comes up immediately. So forgive me for that. But good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining in. Thank you for staying thus far. It's been a very insightful evening. Thank you, King E, for this opportunity. I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy that, You unrelentlessly ensured that I was a part of this, and I'm very grateful. You always keep me in mind regarding things like this. Lady Jade, thank you very much. You've done a wonderful job thus far. This evening, Mr. Tito, Mr. Legend, it's been beautiful listening to both of you. In fact, I was jotting down so much, I had to get an extra sheet of paper. God will help me so that I'll be able to implement most of the things I've heard this evening. So we're moving on to the panel session right about now. And the panel session really is just a continuation of some of the things that have already been discussed, right? So we're trying to dig deeper into more practical steps that we can take as creatives, as voiceover artists. What more can we do? And I'm so in love with this panel session because I think it's coming at a very important time in the year. A lot of times people have New Year resolutions that they start at the beginning of the year. But I dare say that at that point it's already too late when you're just starting to plan at the beginning of the year. So the last quarter is always an instrumental time for one to be able to plan, make amends and just get ready for the year ahead. So if my panelists are ready, we're just going to dive into that. But I'll just like to introduce the people on the panel in this session. So at first we have, let me see the order in which I should go. I don't know if I should start from the hosts or I should start from the speakers. I'm going to start from the hosts, right? I think some speakers have enjoyed some publicity thus far. So
well,
let me start.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just feel like it's just nice to bring the host back. It's just,
Please say that
that
again?
suspense, that action film kind of vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's Johnson. Over to you,
Yes.
Shalawa. Thank you.
Yes, please. I'm here. What did you say?
Oh, I said that it would just be nice to bring our host, like he's the host, so don't let him command the host. Let's, do you understand?
Right.
Yeah.
So let's
Let
start
the
with,
speakers
okay, that's critical so
point.
that we can see. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. All right, so I'm just going to start from the first person that we have on our list right here, right? In no particular order, we have Titobi Oluwa Okwade. He's a financial expert. He's spoken already this evening and he's given an insightful session into how we can invest as little as 10,000 Naira as a beginner step into our financial literacy journey. That's the first person we have here. Mr. Titobi Oluwa, are you still in the house?
Yeah, 100%. Glad to be
All
here. Thank you
right.
so much again for
Thank you for
having me.
being a part of this session. Thank you so much. We also have James Legend. He's a real estate consultant and he's a highly accomplished entrepreneur, thought leader, and strategic innovator. He's been able to open our minds up to diversifying our income as creatives and voiceover artists, and he'll be sharing more in this particular panel session. Thank you, Mr. Legend, for being here.
Thank you, Shalewa.
And thank you so much. Last but not the least, we have Olumide Olusomi. He's a finance and investment consultant. He'll also be educating us on practical steps as voiceover artists on how we can invest properly, even in the financial space. Mr. Olumide, are you in the house?
Yeah, hi guys. Good evening. It's a pleasure
Good
to be
evening.
here.
Thank you very much for joining us. So Olumide is very calm. I can hear that in his voice. So thank you. And we have last but not the least, King E. Afemike. I hope I pronounced that name properly. I was trying to get into my Edo zone. King E is a sought after voiceover artist. And I just dare say that King E is one of the people who are very particular about inspiring other voiceover artists. They believe in if each one could teach one, then each one could reach one. Thank you, King E, for hosting this and being a part of this panel session. Your camera has been on all through. That's the dedication you have to this, and I'm grateful to have you here. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Shalewa, for coming on board.
Thank
Really
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so while I'm still setting up, I would want to start with some very, 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 very practical questions that we have. But I want to do something just a little different, right? If anyone had any question that they wanted to ask from the last session or the previous session and was hanging, I would like to give room for that question. I believe that would be like an icebreaker into the questions that we're going to be asking. The questions being asked are going to be very practical, like, oh, what can I do? How do I enter the market and all of that? So I'd like to give any of the participants, just one person, please, because of time, an opportunity to be able to ask a question in the chat box or something. We start with that question, and then we can then move on to more questions that I'll be asking, just so that I get a feel of, a participant in the house, and, I'm not doing all of the talking. So about a minute, please. If anyone has any question, could you please type it in the chat box? Let's start with that icebreaker, and then we move on to other questions. Just that one pending question.
Yeah, there's one, Robert.
Roberts, okay. Let me see. Robert Muitia, okay. Yes, Robert is asking, I believe this is for James E. Legend. How do we start investing as beginners in real estate? How does one start as a beginner in real estate? What do you do? How do you start the journey?
All right. You start by investing. That's how you start. So I believe the question
So how
here
do we
is,
invest?
you want to, we have said time and time again over this call, the purpose of the investment is very important. If that is sorted, is it a short-term thing? Is it a long-term thing? So what that means is, oh, am I investing because I need the money in like 3 months from now or next year? You understand? If that is known, then I mean you can then pick the kind of investment that you want to do. Again, it also depends on the kind amount of capital you have. You understand? So one of the things I would say is, you're thinking of long-term investments, start with lands, because it's low entry. 1.5 million, 1 million, 3 million, you can get a land. And then you are able to, let's say, like I said before, the analysis I did is, for some people in a month, what comes in as per what you do, right? So it means that within a year, I can probably buy one. And then let's say in 2 years, you probably have like 2 or 3 lands. You can then think of, oh, okay, so let me close 2 together and then diversify that into, let's say, rental income property. But again, if you probably have a bit of muscle, you can go to Mr. Titobi and say, you know what, let me look for a credit facility. Get an apartment that you put on maybe short lets, because the money comes in faster, not yearly. You understand? And then with the turnover, you'll be able to pay Mr. Titobi back and still keep some good money, and you have your apartment still for you. I think that answers that question. Again, always remember, there's not one size fits all, and there's no way we can exhaust all of that on this call. You understand? But with that, with those pointers, you would know, okay, this is what I'm looking to do. I don't have so much money, or I already have saved up this amount. What can I start with it? You understand? We need figures to be able to put things in perspective.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. James. I want to ask one question as Robert's fiance now, right? So, because I want the session to be as practical as possible so that we get so much insight. When we think of real estate, I heard you say millions. I say, hey, God, even as voiceover artists, receiving that amount, God will help us. But what is like a practical amount? Is there like a pay small for creatives?
So,
and the reason why I said so is a lot of creatives are not 9-to-5ers, right? So they don't earn a certain amount monthly. They also don't have access to things like cooperatives, pension funds, and a lot of things being stacked up from them that it's okay, they can withdraw from their brokers and all of that. So how much really can I throw in? What's like the leakless amount if I don't have up to $1 million to pay small?
Okay, so at Called Out Estates, we have our land sales. You start with 500,000, right? That's just a practical amount.
Oh wow, that's practical.
Yes. So I want to add another side to it. So because we are talking investment here and we are talking real estate, sometimes you want to take a bit of deep dive. So, and I'm doing this because I have a financial expert in here so that he can, he looks at it and oh yeah, you can. He can corroborate or maybe say, okay, we'll look at it in this other way.
Yes.
So if you think of I'm talking land now, and then that's a long-term thing. If you think of a short-term thing, something that real estate also has the ability of giving you return like almost immediately. So think of an apartment. However, it's a high end. It means that you need to have a lot of money. But sometimes this money doesn't necessarily have to be yours. So if you have someone like Mr. Tito B and says, okay, you can get this facility from here. If you do, if you get the facility, you get the apartment immediately in like 2 months of, there's moratorium. I don't know how all of those things work, financial, people, but in 2-3 months, you are earning from that apartment. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So we're talking, let's say short let, for instance. You have short lets even on the mainland now as high as a 2-bedroom will be going for as high as 150K per day. So think of worst case scenario. You can't do 30 days in a month, right? But you do, let's say 10 days, 150,000 times 10. You have how much now? I think 15 or how many million? If you do the math, you should be talking 15 million, I believe. And that's just 1 month. Do you understand? So again, is as you have muscle, that's why I said that, first of all. But in its slides, you have more of rental income. So that's because it gives you return almost immediately. If you think of doing it yearly as well, but yearly is, you can wait for a longer period. It's probably the money you have saved up and you got that apartment, and it means that, I can wait, I can collect my rent yearly. Some people do short lets because I want to turn over the money as quickly as I can. So sometimes it's that it's a facility, sometimes it's, maybe it's joint funds, crowdfunding, we get the apartment, short let. We are saying worst case scenario, 10 times 10 days in a month, you are able to put out that apartment at, let's say, at least 100,000. And you know what's coming back to you.
So I want to say something quickly. I know that my
Kingi, I think you're trying to
Thank
talk,
you
but
so
we
much
can't
for
hear
that
you.
insight. Okay, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Shali, but I think King E is trying to
Yes.
say something,
Yeah,
but
so
I don't think we can
King
hear
E's volume is pretty low. So King, I guess you need to use your
Yes,
headphones
we can.
because we can't hear you.
Yes. I was going to move on to Tito Bioluwa, but let's hear King Yi. I think he has critical information to say. King Yi, are you there?
I'm here. I'm trying to talk, but I don't know.
Yes.
Can
I
you
think we
hear
can
me?
hear him now.
Yes,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I wanted to say something quickly just to add to that. Recently, or not too long ago, we went to dedicate the new house of one of our friends, and we got talking, and then we realized that a lot of the time when we talk about real estate or investing in real estate, half the time we just think, oh, the land is 3 million. The land is 5 million. I can't afford that, right? But you realize that sometimes there's something called half plot of land, and there is the one plot, there's hectares and all of that, right? So if you don't have like a 3 million or 3.5 million, you probably can save up to, a 2 million or 2.5 million, right? But another thing that we're even trying to do at Called Out is to do some sort of research, which is the link that we shared. And part of the question that you would answer there is, how much do you think that every month you can judiciously or you can consistently save up? Every month, say, okay, in a month let's say I do 5 voiceover work and I'm able to get like a 500. How much can I drop to invest into my landed property that I want to get maybe in another 1 year, in another 6 months? So with things like that, if you are interested, that form is something that you're willing to fill, and then we can go look at it and say, okay, this person can do this thing, and have a plan that is specifically for creatives that would help you after maybe a year. right? You're able to say, okay, I have a landed property that will be appreciating over, or that would appreciate when I need it, or if I need to resell that land, or at the end of the day, maybe in another 5 years or 10 years, I want to sell it to make more money. There is that. All right. So let's have that at the back of our minds so that we're not just thinking of the big buck and the money that I cannot afford right now, but like little drops of water make an ocean. I think that would also help.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, King E. That's perfect. And that moves me to the next question. I'm going to invite Tito Biolua to please take up from where Mr. James had spoken about. So I asked a very practical question, like, we hear millions all the time when it comes to real estate, pay small, small, all of that. And the pay small, small is not even small, especially people who don't have a fixed income and with a lot of financial decisions that we have to make. So I'm going to ask, what are some practical financial strategies that voiceover artists can deploy to diversify their income streams while maintaining financial stability? And why I'm asking this is, Mr. James said something about land being practically as low as 500,000 naira called out estates. He also gave some options of shortlets and all of that there are ways for which you can start. King E mentioned that you can start with half plots, a full plot, and there are many varied options. What can voiceover artists do? What are the practical financial strategies that they can do if, for instance, they wanted to diversify their income in real estate? And also, are there opportunities that exist in form of, let's say, mortgages, for creatives? Because I think one of the things that's missing, there's a missing gap of knowledge. Where do we go? Are there places that are willing to lend money to people as long as they can look at their financial statement and say, this person earns a decent amount within this couple of months, even if it's a seasonal job, then we can lend money to this person to be able to invest 500,000 naira in called out real estate. What are some of these practical financial strategies that voiceover artists can deploy in diversifying their income? Case in point, real estate.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. So thank you very much also firstly to Mr. A Legend. I think he quoted me quite a lot, like I said earlier, and then but also that's also just like to say that some of the things he mentioned are also very like key and important, and that's why we also looking to partner with persons like him that are offering financial products, which that's what we term it as anyways at Angle, like because like what Kingi mentioned, that pay small kind of thing. These are the kind of opportunities we want to show our users anyways. But to go straight down to answer your questions in terms of really, let me start from the mortgage question. So the honest truth, I'll be honest. The honest truth is that giving the way mortgage works, right? Giving somebody that doesn't have a regular monthly income a mortgage can be an issue, because banks or financial institutions or lending institutions, want to have some certain sense of security, right? When they are giving out these loans or when they're giving out these mortgages. But that's not to say that there are not opportunities, right? For voiceover artists, to try to get engaged in real estate. And the best way they can, like, is what Mr. Legend has mentioned, right? Which is the fact, and Kingi also alluded to, which is the investing in small bits as they make this income, right? They can just save towards that property that they are trying to invest in, save towards that property they are trying to get, and it doesn't have to be in like in the eyebrow area, like Mr. Legend had mentioned earlier. Like, it doesn't have to be in Lekki. It can be somewhere like in Yanokwaja. It can even be somewhere like in Ibadan, where properties are a lot cheaper, and then a lot of people are moving from Lagos to Ibadan now, because obviously I think Ibadan is trying to do a lot of things to also attract tech talents and the like. So yeah, those are things that real estate in those places are looking like really starting to brighten up. So those are places that voiceover artists can also look at, getting into properties, especially with partners like Called Out Estate, which are offering, low income ways of getting into real estate, like the plan that they just, suggested. But honestly, the best way to expand like your the best way to to ensure financial diversification in your income and ensure financial stability is, firstly, you need to expand your income, right? As a voiceover artist, you can do, obviously, try to get gigs. I know these are things that people try to do every time, right? Get gigs, audio narration, podcasts, e-learning modules. Like us also, I think that's probably another conversation that we will be having with King E, because we use a lot of voiceover for our courses that we keep building. So that's something we can also look into to engage voiceover artists on in the platform, because especially we're trying to localize our voices and the likes. So like I said, e-learning modules like us, video game characters, a lot of people are doing fantastic things around that in the African continent currently. So creating and selling, voiceover packs, libraries, and the likes, develop recording clips for sale. All those things are like they might seem like all these things are not far-fetched, because imagine you just sit down and create like a voiceover pack or sound library that you can sell for look, because there's a lot of demand for local voices now, for local dialects, and people are trying to integrate into their products, into whatever it is that they're doing. People don't want to have foreign voices dictate local dialects and stuff. So those are like things that majorly people can voiceover artists can look into. But another key thing is, like I said, which is what we advocate for in at Angle, is invest and save strategically, right? Those are ways you can also ensure financial stability, like I've already mentioned in the things I've said, emergency funds, saving, budgeting, right, investing in those dividend stocks, you know. And then one key thing, which is the base for all of this, is tracking your finances, so that you can cut down on those places where sometimes most people don't even have like an income problem. They just have a spending problem, like Nigeria, for example. I don't think Nigeria has an income problem. We have a spending problem. So if you are keeping track of our cash flow, budgeting our monies, I think we will see where, especially keeping track of how we are spending, which is one of the things that Ango is trying to do. Partner with open banking softwares, analyze people's financial settings, and be able to give them a report at the end of each month and tell them, this is what you spent money on, this is what you spent money on, and then people are able to look at those things and cut down on what is not necessary. So as not to take more time, I think let me just leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask Olumide Olusomi, if he's on the call, another question, right, relating to this. Tito Biolua had mentioned practical strategies that we can take, which includes, improving your income streams, your earning ability, right? He was talking about not just being a voiceover artist, creating podcasts and all of that. He also talked about location, right? Don't just look to get land in the areas that you consider pricey or more standard. There are many areas that you can invest in. And then he's also giving us some practical strategies like investing and saving, so that you ensure that you cut down on spending. But Mr. Lumide, I'd like to ask you, what types of investments or financial products would you recommend for voiceover artists, especially when they are trying to ensure long-term financial security outside their primary work? So what are some of these investments or financial products that you would recommend for voiceover artists as a finance and investment consultant, please?
All right, thank you so much. Good evening. And I'm glad to be here. Yeah, sure. So Tito B and Mr. Legend they've said a lot about the possible financial products here. And the most important thing they've said has been you need to be sure why you want a particular product, which would also make me answer the question from the stance of financial literacy. So, I mean, the first thing is there's every tendency that, as a creative, the level of financial literacy is a bit low. And it is not like an insult or anything, because there are lots of professionals who have earned money for lots of years that are financially illiterate. So it is not really about making money or living a good life. It's about knowing how to make plans that are good for your financial health, right? So, and as Mr. Legend and Tito B also mentioned, it starts by having goals, right? So doing the whole process of becoming financially literate, get to go through series of lessons about how to identify, your goals, your objectives, and how to like create the right plans for them. So, across this financial literacy journey, you have lots of products that would help. You have budgeting products, as Toby has mentioned. You have savings products. As your journey continues, you might need to get dollar domiciled portfolios. You might need to get lots of opportunity, lots of amazing products here. So, but what I would say is there is a product for every financial need, and financial needs are not just saving and investing. You have some for planning, where you have budgeting. You have some for forecasting. You have just some for organization. You have some for recommendation. You have some for just knowledge. You have some for taxation. You have some for wealth management. So there are lots of possible, financial needs, and those financial needs have they have corresponding financial products available, to solve those needs. So I would say it starts from the financial education itself, because the moment you become financially literate, you have, created the right path for yourself towards enjoying financial independence and freedom. So I would say the choice and the variety of financial products available starts by understanding what financial literacy is, so that you can understand the needs that you may have financially. And those answers would definitely give you the products that you would need, that is tailored to your personal journey, as Angu is curating their product. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kingi, I'm going to jump over to you because I believe you are a guy in this industry and you can help us. Most of this talk we've been talking is really because the economy is, very good, very sweet. All right. And many people are trying to see ways that they can diversify their income, earn more and all of that. King E, this question is from me to you. Nobody is here, please. How have you been able to would I say, explore additional streams of income within the voiceover industry? How have you been able to balance this? King E, is this what is feeding you? Are we the ones being lazy? Or there are other ways we can, have additional income streams within the industry? How do we balance this thing where you can explore other options and then we can get to also, work as voiceover artists? What are some of these additional income streams that we should know? Please tell us.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I mean, if you know me enough, you know that I'm a man of many sides, right? Or a couple of sides, basically. But I usually also do not like to use my life as a yardstick to what will happen, for other people. You just have to find what works for you. But you have to be willing to find it, right? But first things first is I do voiceovers, and voiceovers give me some reasonable amount of money. And aside that, I also train voiceover artists. So you see that that's an extra source of income. Aside that, I also do voiceover production, right? So that is also another source of income within the voiceover industry. So practically for me, I think I operate within the three legs of the voiceover industry. I think that's probably why I may be doing a little bit okay than some people, right? And then I think we understand where the economy is. Aside doing voiceover is not giving you enough money. There are some people that are full-time voiceover artists that are doing very well. Oh. Let's also know that. That's why I said that I can't use my life. There's people like Eric is a full-time voiceover artist. T-Code is a full-time voiceover artist, even though he's younger than us in the industry. He does strictly voiceover. So it really just depends on what works for you, right? For me, I do a couple of things that gives me money, even if I'm not making money from voiceover per se. But within the voiceover industry, I also think that you can diversify and create more options to make money, right? The other day we did an audio design masterclass. It was some people that came, and the people who came, they did some practical work that even I was so blown away, right? After 2 days, you realize that those people, they have somewhat created extra legs for them to make money. So even if they're not voicing, there's a tendency that they're producing or they're doing some editing for, you know, some people. I think a lot of the time there's also the fear of investing into your voiceover work. Aside, of course, investing in real estate, understanding finance, I think there's also the part in investing in your learning. Because sometimes I usually say there's the theoretical part of wanting to make money as a voiceover artist. There's also the practical part of actually taking actions that will in turn help you to make money as a voiceover artist. And those actions are not things that happen immediately. So it's like you're sowing to reap afterwards, right? Some people are just comfortable in their comfort zone. They are, you know, they are only concerned about, I want to make money now. I have a voice and that's enough. While some people, they want to learn more. You see that this webinar is free right now. Some people are not here. If you ask them why they are not here, they'll say they forgot, or, oh, I had other things that I was doing. While some people are here to get this knowledge and they will now apply. So there's of course, the knowledge that you have and the application of the knowledge. So some people learn to start making money, just like investment, even within the voiceover artist. Some people start, I know a couple of students or alumni of the voiceover workshop that went ahead to learn how to do production. They started investing into setting up their home studios, and today they are making more money than people who never did that. So we have to look at it from that perspective. There are some people that are just fine. After my training, I'm good, and I just want to wait. There are some people who they will create those opportunities. So for you to make more money, looking at the economic situation, you have to start thinking what other way. Copywriting. There are a lot of scripts that I use for practical classwork that I wrote by myself. Sometimes clients will say, we want to write script, and I have to charge them for that. So you want to look, into what are some of the things that I can do? What is the extra that I can do? If I want extra money, then I must start looking to do some extra things, even within the voiceover industry. Now, if you are not a full-time voiceover artist, it is not also a crime. Some people are entrepreneurs. They are making money some other place, but they are also pushing their voiceover work. The Bible says that wisdom is profitable to direct. What I usually say is that with wisdom is the the profit of wisdom is direction. Okay, so you have wisdom and then you get direction. So if you feel like I have to work for a bit and then of course still keep pushing my voiceover work, I think that's the way it should go. Do that and be comfortable with yourself that you're doing the right thing. Okay, but the truth is that you cannot want to make more money and expect that you won't change anything from your from your own being. If you want to make more money, you must be willing to do more, like investment, like investing in your training, investing in something else, or diversifying what you do, even within the voiceover industry. I hope I have answered well. Thank you.
Thank you. Being comfortable with yourself is key. I can speak from first-hand experiences. A lot of times creatives are worried about what more they should be doing. But we have to round off now. This conversation is something, that is an ongoing conversation. Afterward, we'll still have to reconvene and have more of these conversations. But I'm going to ask two practical questions to Tito B and Mr. Legend. Two very quick questions. We have to round off. Tito B, I'm going to ask you 7 financial mistakes that you think creatives make and how they can avoid them. So we're going to do like 1, don't spend, don't do this, don't do that, in that kind of order, just very quickly, so that anyone on get the nuggets. Mr. Legend, I'm going to ask how real estate can be a passive income stream for creatives. You've shared a link on this chat, I believe, and for people to fill and just be informed on basically how you're trying to extract information from them to just know how well they can pay for certain things when it comes to real estate. But how can it be passive income for people? So Mr. Tito B, I'm asking you common financial mistakes that creatives make and how to overcome them very briefly, please. Mr. Legend, I'm asking how can real estate be passive income for creatives, really? Thank you.
All right. I wouldn't talk too much. I'll just mention a couple of things and then I'll be off. So number one mistake is lack of financial planning, and I'll expand it on that with like just 3 bullet points, right? Lack of financial planning. What I'll tell you under that is develop a budget and a cash flow plan to allocate your resources every month. Your revenue that you're getting every month, your money you're making every month, allocate that money every month. That's one. Two, prioritize your streams of income based on their profitability and their sustainability. Don't look at the gigs that are paying you more and that will pay you for a longer period. Don't wait on small gigs that will not pay you consistently and then so that then three, set goals. Set goals for your financial plans. So secondly, under my second point is keep records. Lack of keeping records is what another thing that affects people. People think that treat your life like a business. You know, it's financial journey to financial independence is a journey. So if you keep your life like if you keep proper records, you will not regret it because you'll be able to make adjustments month on month when you compare records. Three, don't overcommit to a lot of projects. Don't overcommit to projects, right? Just ensure that you are evaluating your opportunity. Always evaluate like time to reward ratio. Very important. Always look at that. You know, don't 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 over commit to a lot of projects. Be careful with your cash flow. You don't want to overcommit and then you're now having issues meeting up with your basic needs. Then I think another thing is financial mistakes, underpricing yourself. That's one thing I need to mention. Don't underprice yourself. As voiceover artists, I know that Kingi obviously in his many workshops will have, touched on this and tell voiceover artists, growing in the industry that they should don't underprice themselves. So that's one key thing you need to also financial mistakes that people also do. Then don't ignore passive income. Don't ignore passive income. You see that dividend stocks I talked about earlier, that saving FGN savings bonds where you can save your money. Don't ignore those things. Investing in dollar denominated, don't ignore those things. Invest in passive incomes, shares, bonds, So invest in all those things.
Thank
Then
you.
yeah, that's it. I think that's basically yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, because I
Yeah.
want to be able to just move on to Mr. Legend with there's a
Yeah,
particular
that's fine.
point
That's fine.
on passive income. So I think that's a beautiful way to end it, just so that we can summarize points. By the way, there were 3 things that you said, and I'm going to reiterate it. There were 3 things you said on don't overcommit to projects and evaluate the risk reward. Those 2 things I'm emphasizing on the call, but I think that's a struggle with many creatives who want to give 100% even to things that may feed us 2%. So it's like you need to be able to evaluate how much you spend your time so that you're not spent investing in things that may not necessarily reward you and then you get burned out. So thank you for those salient points. Mr. James, please, how can real estate be a passive income for voiceover artists?
So it's pretty straightforward, yeah. Passive income from real estate is from rental properties. If you do not have a property as per rental in property that can bring you rental income from lands, yes, it is appreciating, but you can as well not just leave it. There are people that can maybe do something with it. What do you call it now? If probably farming, probably people that mold blocks or something. They are renting the land. They don't need a house. They need the land to do that. You understand? And then it can give you income from there. But basically rental income. So I mean, I've mentioned short let. If it's in land, the land doesn't just have to sit. Although while sitting, it is appreciating, but you can also give it out to people to use, and then you make rent from it. People that do, what do you call it, events, some of the lands are not even there. It's probably rented. You understand? So that's passive income.
Fantastic. I've learned a lot, and it's a pity we have to wrap up now. I'm going to post a question to the chat for Mr. Olumide. And the reason why I'm doing it is I believe that any question posted here, even though not answered, can be posted to the Voiceover workshop page or group. So there's an avenue for the learning to be continued even after this. But thank you so much for the opportunity. I learned so much in these few minutes. You wouldn't believe that my mind has been reopened to many things I had forgotten about. Thank you for the opportunity, King E, and thank you so much, everyone. Good evening.
You.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please celebrate Shalewa Williams and such a profound panel session? Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, I am a few words wiser. I've learned so much tonight, and I believe that the rest of us have also learned a lot of things as well, because it's very, very important that we're able to diversify, which is why we're able to learn from, diversifying our investment portfolio from real estate, and also having a budget that we follow strictly, and also keeping tabs on what our expenses are like every month, and having certain percentages so that we're not able, so that we're able to keep track of whatever it is that we're doing. And of course, thank you so much to our convener, King E. Thank you for putting this together and for showing us the power of collaboration. I mean, who would have thought? But 2, 3 years ago, we didn't know that real estate could collaborate with real estate. Sorry, voiceover rather could collaborate with real estate or fintech. And look at us now. So we are making massive progress. Once again, everyone, can we please celebrate King E? Thank you so much. Thank you. 2 hours of massive learning, 2 hours of impact. And one of the things that all of the speakers have had to reiterate is we need to be lifelong learners beyond whatever knowledge that we've garnered today and the notes that we've taken. It is very important that we go back, go through these notes, see how we can apply it one step at a time. Now, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. It starts with making sure that you look into your expenses, putting out that 20% of your income into an investment portfolio. I know asking questions of being a part of Angle to know, okay, how do I invest that 10,000 naira, that free 10K, that free 20K into a federal government bond, so that over time your money is working for you even in your sleep. And of course, just so that we can run up, and please, once again, can we also celebrate Shalewa, our beautiful moderator? Thank you so much for such a fantastic moderation, and of course, really, really powerful questions as well. So once again, everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for staying from the beginning up until now. And of course, I would like to encourage everyone to please register for our upcoming course by Paula Gammon Wilson. It's a casting director. Paula Gammon Wilson is a casting director extraordinary who will be training on narrative podcasts. And please go to our website, www.thevoiceoverworkshop.com/course. I believe that the link should be in the chat section now. So please, if you want to know if you want to know about narrative podcast, please go to the website www.thevoiceoverworkshop.com/course to get started. Okay, please make sure that you register. Like we said, lifelong learning, and it is the knowledge that you apply that work for you. It's very important. It's the knowledge that you apply that will work for you. And on this note, I would like to hand over to our convener if he has any last words. Kingi, over to you. Thank
Hello,
you also to
everyone.
the
Thank
panelists.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Jade, Lady Jade Global, thank you so much for an amazing work. And Shaliwa, you like to shock me, but it's good. Thank you so much for your contribution. And of course, to our speakers, Mr. James, Tito, and Olumide, big thank you for finding the time to be here. And of course, Ango for your support.
Yeah,
I'm still
Ango.
struggling with that name because of this. Don't mind me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you.
So thank you so much for supporting this and ensuring that this happens. And big shout out to everyone behind the scene doing some work, some coded, some people, they like to move spiritually. They don't like physical movement. So big shout out to you for an amazing work, the entire team, our CEO. We really appreciate it. Yes, so I just want to say a bit on the training with Paula. That's the next thing that we're doing. It's going to be virtual training, but Paula is one of the global casting directors and arts directors that you would find. She's the one that casted all of us for the Iyanu project, and she was at the Voiceover conference. So she's doing this course on narrative podcast, and I think that if you have the money you should be part of it. It's not a lot of money. It's about $60 because we're working with our company to ensure that everything is gotten. But of course, the certificates that will be there will be signed and approved by Pep Squally VO Portugal, and of course, Voiceover Workshop and Media Lagos, Nigeria. So as much as possible, take advantage of it. There are other things that I can't say, but if you have the money, I would just tell you to register for the course. There's a reason, but at the end of the day, you probably find out, but I'm not allowed to say it until that time. All right, so thank you so much. It's been great. Look out for the next thing that we're doing, and it is never too late to start. It is never too late to pick up from where you stopped. You're not fighting, you're not racing with anyone. Your life is your life. Your timing is your timing. We all trust God, and God is a God of time, and of course, a God of process. I keep saying that God is not a God of perfection. God is a God of process towards perfection. All right, and that's how the world is that's how the world operates. Process. Everything in the world is in motion. So you have to constantly keep working and keep improving and keep finding better ways to become the better version, a better version of you. So thank you so much for your time, and it's been a refreshing one. I've learned a lot. There are some things that were said I was even feeling bad. So, well, we keep learning, we keep growing. And remember, talk is cheap. Your voice can be expensive. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please fill out the
Thank you,
forms.
everyone.
So, thank you, Lady Jade. Thank you, Kingi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.